Hi, welcome to this channel on magnetic energy technology principles applications. This video is about magnetic nuclear fusion, propulsion, or like a any or just magnetic fusion. Propulsion is fine too. Highly unconventional information, of course, and this is something that you could say your taxpayer dollars have been contributing to for decades around the world. And so it's one of those topics that there's, these secret space programs and everything that use alternative technology, including the magnetic technology. And so it's like, how do they do that and where are they at? I never give away too much detail for safety reasons, but I do want to put these principles out there because I know a lot of people are working on them and they use this kind of stuff to help further their research. And I think it's important for people to at least start to get a glimpse of what's going on behind the curtain around the world and what's being kept from the public view and kept from conventional universities and everything. So this type of engine could be the primary or secondary driver. Keep in mind, in the magnetic world, your ship is, as far as interstellar transportation goes, it's going to be done primarily on a tract because you're going to create a wormhole, if you want to call it that, and you're going to move beyond space and time through the power of a tract. But there's a lot of circumstances or situations where you might be inside of a solar system or inside of certain areas in space where propulsion is a very effective tool to get you places. And so how do you do that? How do you do that with an efficient manner? So this is what you do. This method produces a low temperature safe nuclear reaction, and there is no dirty byproducts of this. So there's no pollution that is produced by this method, and that's hugely important because any type of nuclear reaction that actually produces radioactive byproducts, like a trail of that through space, will absolutely not be permitted to travel through interstellar mediums or everything else. It will be shut down immediately. I can promise you that. The fuel, whether it's gas or it's liquid or solid, it doesn't necessarily matter. You can have any or all, and then you can also have, actually, you can have interdimensional fuel, but that's for another video. I don't want to go that deep on this. That's more advanced material. But this, no matter what it is, your fuel has to be resonated with relatively neutral but magnetic pulsing. It has to be at certain resonant factors in order for this process to work. You can't just pump fuel into it. The fuel has to be pulsing. It has to be resonating. So essentially, you could probably predict this. The reaction is going to take place inside of a rotating, counter-rotating, relatively neutral pulsing magnetic field, okay, that will produce, by its very nature, it will produce safe nuclear reactions. And then the fuel is slowly fed into the reaction just enough to seed the resonant polarity signature so that your whole rotating and counter-rotating toruses of energy, toroidal fields, they are resonating with the signatures of the fuel. So what that does is it creates the molecular structures of the fuel. They're going to be blinking in and out of our dimension inside of that torus. So it's a very bizarre experience, but what happens is, in that environment, they attract an unlimited number of molecular signatures and energy into the torus, into the rotating torus magnetic field, that essentially creates, people will say it creates, but it's formulating more of the fuel. So the seed of the fuel draws in energy that formulates more of the fuel and then reformulates that fuel inside of the torus. So you could say, the simple way to say it would be, it's creating fuel and it's replicating fuel inside the torus. But what we would say, it's formulating it and it's reformulating it. And that's really huge because not only is the fuel, it's your supply lasts forever basically, but it's so incredibly efficient, the engine, and at the same time it is like exceptionally powerful. So it's really, what you're doing is you're almost like having the power of a small star inside of your starship or your spaceship, but it's a safe nuclear low temperature reaction that is incredibly powerful and will last as long as you need it to for spaceship travel or whatever you want to do. Now, the versatility of this is off the charts. So you can have devices that are micron size level, micro sized level, all the way up to city size spaceships, essentially like motherships that could be powered by this. So there's really no limitation as far as like what happens with it. Now you're going to run into, in the conventional model, let's just hit this right now, because conventional scientists will say, well, it doesn't matter because of Einstein's universe and you can't surpass the speed of light and all that BS that everyone's been brainwashed for the last 100 years. In this model, and all these top secret labs are already very well aware of this, they have magnetic pulse shielding around all the vehicles that essentially it reflects and diffracts light and any gravitational influences. So there's no limitation on speed for the ships, whether it's through attract or propulsion. But the difference, though, of this is when you go into the attract world, we are jumping dimensions. And so that's really important. You do not use propulsion in that environment like when you're jumping dimensions. But when you're in our dimension and you want to move around very efficiently and very quickly to, say, from planet to planet or something, you don't necessarily want to jump dimensions. You're going to want super incredibly powerful, efficient, safe, low temperature, nuclear, magnetic nuclear reactions to power you. And that's what this is. So that's what this type of engine provides you with. So please send in any questions and comments that you have on this, and thank you for the idea of different topics. I'll keep trying to provide information on these types of like top secret projects or whatever, the things that have been worked on for quite some time actually. They're still continuing to make progress in these areas. And so it's just a crazy, amazing type of propulsion that really could be powering all of our vehicles. But it's probably the future. In many ways it will be the future of propulsion for certain projects and certain things. Even as consciousness goes up, this technology is still applicable even with ascension. And so it's a fun thing to talk about, it's a fun thing to discuss. And so please send in comments and questions that you have, and I will see you next time.